I'll do my I'm sorry why I am late rant. I went on freaking on base, show you what I had for dinner. And just what does
Yeah.
it say? I'll show you this little message. So what's
Okay.
it? What do you call it when that's going out to eat?
That looks like a kid's meal at a hospital.
Uh, no, you guys are getting deployed soon.
Now, I'll show you. If we were getting deployed soon, uh, we'd get that.
I was gonna say they'd give you good stuff.
Yeah, they give
Yeah,
you good
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
It just means that all I had to flash was my ID, and the add-on to that, the setup for that, is that I tried to whip something else out, but my cock got declined.
Anyway, Eddie went to the grocery store, and that's why he's late, and that's
That's
why
what it's
we're
like.
here. That's why we're
And
here.
then he got arrested.
And then he got arrested.
Then I
And he
got
was only
arrested.
25 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quick arrest.
Thank God there's like not prime rib being made or anything.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fake Philosophers, the podcast where we record whenever the fuck we want to. Um, with us today is Danny. Say something,
Hi,
Danny.
chat. What's up, chat? It's your boy.
Oh, God damn.
You asked me saying that.
That's fair. And then also Eddie.
Hello.
Eddie made us late today because he was not that the audience knows we're late, but
No.
we started recording late because he was busy at the grocery store and sexually harassing people.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They asked for it and I obliged.
so we'll just jump right into it. What prompted this episode? So little insight into my life. We live near the Eaton Fire in Altadena, and my in-laws live in Altadena, and they currently they had to evacuate like immediately. That's a whole other story. And so they've been living with us for the last week and a half.
Oh,
And
geez.
yeah. And so it's been a little tight, but it's been okay. They're safe. Their
Good.
house is safe. They went back to it today to take a look at it. They can't
Thank
live in it yet.
goodness.
Yeah, but a couple days ago we were talking if hypothetically, because at one point we were kind of being warned that we might have to evacuate, but then it was fine. But we were talking about if what if the fire came close enough to our house that we would have to evacuate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I kind of was like, "Oh, I already have. Like, we already know the plan."
Mm.
And so she was like, "Really? Like you just know what you would do?" And I kind of jokingly, I was like, "Yeah, yeah." Like this is my mother-in-law I'm talking to. Like, yeah, like I have plans for everything. And she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm a man. Men are boys at heart, and we think of plans for everything. If a bear comes in the house, if a wild coyote attacks you, we have plans. Whether or not they work, we have plans."
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of laughed about it. And I think Danny and I were talking before we started recording. At one point, I think I called them their man plans. And I was like, every man has them. And even the next day, I was talking to one of our front of house guys at the pizza place. And he's even a younger guy. He's like 20, 21 years old. And I was like, hey, man, I was like, this is kind of a random question. I was like, do you have like plans?
Mm.
And he's like, what do you mean? Like with my life? I was like, no, like plans. Like if something's
With my life?
with my
No.
life.
What the hell are you talking about?
No, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. But he was kind of like, huh? And I was like, like plans, like if there's a fire, if there's an earthquake. And he's like, oh yeah, I have plans for everything. And I was like, okay. I was like what? And he was like, he's like, it won't really work, but like I have kind of an idea for like if we were warned about a nuke, zombies, fire. I think he said he's like, I have a plan for if an active shooter comes walking in that door right now. And I was like, exactly. Men have plans. And with that in mind, I reached out to the fellas here. Mitch is still in Madagascar helping out the people in that tragic accident.
They need it.
They do. And I was like, we all have plans, right? And Danny's like, yeah, I have plans. And Eddie's like, I'm just curious about what plans you have.
I am.
So here we are. Eddie, you don't have plans?
Well, there's best practices, but okay, I guess I'll lead off because
I'm just asking you. You have plans?
in my head I do.
Exactly.
But then there's the reality of the whole thing. So
reality doesn't count. Reality doesn't count in the man plans. Most man plans won't work.
Yeah,
but
if the zombies attack, you're not going to get infected. Move on.
I have a zombie plan too for my house.
Providing you don't get infected, right?
Well, of course, yeah. That kind of ruins the plan right up front.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of those zombies.
All right, Eddie, what's your plan for? We'll start it off. I wrote down a few.
Mhm.
The big one, the earthquake.
Oh, there's only so much you can do, provided provided the building I'm in is still standing. Just shut off all the water. Gonna have to make do with the toilet water that's in the toilet for everything. Um, if it is the big one, we're gonna have power lines cut. All the plumbing's going to be cut. It's going to be a trade and barter system for a long time. I kind of have an out being in the reserve because I just put on the old uniform and I'm a part of that. I'm working for it. Uh, but yeah, we could still have communication and what have you. But
There's
it's a big problem.
there's a good chance that because you're in reserves, you'll be called up to duty, right?
Uh, that's National Guard, but you know, when something on that scale happens, it's anybody's game. But we're
Mhm.
not the Navy Reserve. They're not in the at the discretion of the governor like the National Guard is, like the
Okay.
Army Reserve. But yeah, in an emergency, they can whip up orders. You
Hmm.
know, obviously there's going to be plenty of people hurt situations. So yeah, I would be definitely be available to serve in that capacity. And if they can get the word out, but then again, we have satellites. Uh, I'm not sure how cell phones are going to work, but if they are still working, there's still a means of communication.
Hmm.
So yeah. How about you?
You know, Danny brought up the big one. I didn't have that written down, and I don't think I have an actual plan for that. Um, I haven't really thought about that one. I think it's kind of like you said, that one you kind of like if hypothetically they announced that zombies were coming, you kind of okay, what do we do? The fire in Altadena. It's like okay, the fire's in Altadena, but with an earthquake, that's a tough one because it's like you don't know what's like
Surprise.
the big one could come out of nowhere and be completely different than the way I envisioned it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it could be like a huge earthquake and nothing in our house breaks. It could be a smaller one and everything in our house breaks. Like
But
that,
the big one, something's
yeah, it's a
gonna
big
break.
one. I think because we live kind of on the hill, I think it's one of those situations where we just kind of, I think I would just hang tight, depending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else we could do. I feel like we couldn't leave our house anyway because of all the shit going down the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Danny, about you?
Um, I mean, I would honestly, staying put would seem like the best option. But say like, the gas line ruptures and my house goes boom or something. I would probably try to make my way back to my mom's place, make sure that they're okay at my mom's place, and just hunker down there for a bit. Um, yeah, I mean, it's because it's not necessarily an apocalyptic event. It's just, a bad natural disaster. So it wouldn't be like, okay, we need to go get food, need to get supplies, need to get ready for, the post apocalypse or something like that. So I think, staying put, waiting for, um, you know, essential grid systems to, you know, come back online. Um, but I think it'd be, depending on the size of the earthquake, it'd probably be like a week or two before all that's done.
Mm-hmm. Now, recalibrating what I just said, in order to report someplace, physically, it occurs to me that there are a number of bridges that I'm either going under or crossing over.
Mhm.
If you
Ooh,
get
San
a
Diego, yeah.
9.0, that okay, just because it's standing now doesn't mean it's going to be standing after all the aftershocks.
Yeah.
And those need to be inspected every time. Only one of those needs to go out, and things get very difficult very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it would come down to if we're being realistic about it. I think it would like it would just be staying at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mhm.
I'm lucky I have a lot of meat in my freezer. So if assuming I still have gas, maybe just
Mm-hmm.
like just jerky the shit out of all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or just leave it in the freezer and try to make it last. Like that one the earthquake, I didn't think of that till Danny hit me right before the we recorded. So I really don't have a good answer for that, except I think now that we're all kind of in agreement, it's really much just kind of sheltering in place.
Do you have a generator?
I don't have a generator. That's why Mitch should be here.
Yeah. I can help you
But
guys
that's
out.
I will say that's one of the reasons why, like the paranoid man mind. One of the reasons I want solar, one, because it cuts down on your electrical bill, but
Big
also
time.
if something were to happen, God forbid,
Mhm.
you would have at least some sort of power. I know it wouldn't last 24 hours a day, but you would have something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a very good point.
hmm All right, so
Man, I want
that's
to invest in solar cells, like a portable solar thing now.
right. All right, so
Like
earthquakes.
give it
What?
like 5 more years, and like solar will be, I think, at a price where it'll be worth it.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah, right now it's just too much. And I know like there's like a lot of California programs that says like, hey man, you can get it for like nothing right now. Yeah, no, that's with like rebates and shit, and you got to have it up for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And well, there's portable solar that can at least charge your phone,
Yeah,
but for that
I've
to
seen that.
work, there still needs to be a network.
hmm
Yeah, that's why we haven't gotten solar yet because I know it's one of those things, kind of like with electric cars, to where it's a good idea, it's going to be good, but you're kind of waiting for it to really be
Take
solid
it.
before
Yeah.
you get it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. This is a pretty straightforward one, so we can be quick. Just a breaking and entering. Someone
Okay.
breaks into your house and they're coming for you.
So I mean, are they
Well, if
coming
they
for
want,
us?
yeah, if they want shit, go ahead and take the shit. I mean,
For the
take what
sake
you got to do. I mean,
for the sake of raising the stakes, they're coming for you.
Okay.
okay.
And this is like a Home Alone situation.
You don't know they're coming. You
Okay.
hear like I have dogs, so my dogs bark. Danny, you hear glass break,
Okay.
so you have 15 to 20 seconds maybe.
Okay. I got a one of those new stop boxes for my gun. So it's essentially just like a button press combination, and I have access to my gun in like 5 seconds. They're really cool.
Hmm.
That's
Sponsor
what
us, please. Uh,
I mean. That's why it's very simple. This one.
um, yeah, and I'm ready to go. So if somebody breaks in with the express purpose of hurting me or my wife, it's not going to be easy for them to do that.
So is your bed in a position to where
hmm
from where you're sleeping, you have a clear line of sight on the door?
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
And I'd be lying if I said I haven't, rehearsed.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. We're all
I think
boys. Like,
if you have a weapon, everybody does.
yeah.
And so
You're not gonna
I'd be
be
lying if I
groggy.
said like I haven't walked through my house and found the angles. And
That's awesome. Yeah.
and I do that kind of like, so this is just how my mind works, and I'm very easily distracted and very easily bored and semi ADD. Any room I walk into, I look for angles. From the
Same here.
door, I mark the exits. Um and then I look, it's like, okay, who can I use as a human shield? Okay, okay.
Freaking okay, Jason Bourne. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not to this extent, but I'm kind of that same way. Danny, I think we've talked about this. At restaurants, we have talked about it. At restaurants, wherever you're sitting, you see the front door.
Yep.
Or at
That's my
least you
brother,
try
that's my wife.
yeah, you try to get an angle on it. No, sorry. All right, Eddie, you're breaking.
I've just got a lot of cutlery by my bed.
For those midnight Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah, I got a lot of cutlery.
When you're eating ribs in bed.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm listening, but I want to show you one of the pieces of cutlery. I'll be right back.
How are you listening? You just took your headphones off.
He can't hear you, Mike. He took his headphones off.
Can you hear me now? No, I can't. Wait a second. Yeah, so the gun one, I could say this because I'm repeating you. I don't currently own a gun, but when I do, I will probably get something like that. I mean, my woman doesn't like guns. She doesn't want a gun in the house.
Same.
She's cool with me. So I eventually do want to get one for a concealed carry permit.
hmm
Um, and she said that's fine, but you keep it in the car. Like she does not want a gun in the
Yeah.
house. But assuming I can, I would have that kind of thing next to the door because you've seen my bedroom. Like if something happens, I had a clear view on the door too.
Yeah.
And the dogs would definitely let us know someone was there.
Yeah.
All right, cutlery. Let's see it.
Shing.
Gladius.
Dope.
But
That's a
then
nice one.
again, there's being able to use it. I mean, I'm used to using a foil and what have you. Honestly, pragmatically, hang on.
All right.
I have one of these by my bed. I have a wooden boken. This is a lot lighter, and I know
Yeah.
how to use this more. So,
That'd probably be more practical for a
if they
break-in.
have guns, it's like, oh, okay.
I
Guess
mean,
I'm that important.
yeah. Chances are,
But
if they have guns, they're there to hurt you, and if they
Mhm.
don't have guns, they're just there to turn the place over.
But generally, it's kind of the best practice if you're breaking and entering that you're gonna. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, there was a thing selling security alarms in the 80s. It was like an infomercial saying that 80% of break-ins don't use any weapon at all. But that's the
Mhm.
80s. I don't know. So yeah. But then again, it's like, okay, if you can hear them, that's one thing. If it's in the middle of the day or up, it's like the afternoon. Okay, you can prepare yourself. You can have some semblance of getting ready. If you're sleeping, they're going to need to break down the door anyway, right? But
Mhm.
what's to say that your ass ain't going to be groggy enough that you can have like a little shot? Now, chances are, if they hear a shot, that's good enough, you
Yeah.
know. Or if they
Yeah.
hear a shotgun loading, that's good enough, you know. That's all you need to do. If they want more, they can certainly get some, but yeah, that's breaking and entering.
Yep. So for me, as of now, Eddie, while you were getting your cutlery, I kind of told Danny I don't currently own a gun, but when I plan on it, and when I do, I want to have a similar thing next to the bed. Um, Erica doesn't like guns, so like I wouldn't even give her the code, so that way she doesn't have to worry about it. But anyway, as of right now, not having a gun, I kind of am in a weird position. So in this room, I have also lots of cutlery,
Mm-hmm.
some sharp, some just decorative. So I have, if I'm sleeping in bed, it might be tough for me to get to this room before, you know, someone breaking in gets to the bedroom. But I do have the needle from Game of Thrones in the bedroom. So if
Mm-hmm.
right now I heard barking, I'd probably grab that. Or barking because my dogs would bark. Probably grab that. And I think there's a psychological aspect to it too. Because I know a lot of people, they break in, they don't necessarily have a gun. A lot of people will carry a knife. There's something psychological about if you're breaking in, even if you have a gun, and someone charges you with like a spear or a sword or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think something psychological that would be scary as fuck still, and that's the angle
There
I'm going
would
on.
be. There
Yeah,
would be.
that's the angle I'm going with. I might move the spear into the bedroom so I can have a projectile.
Then again, I brought up self defense to somebody who I went to boot camp with and works at a gun range, and I thought about a shotgun, and he's like, "Well, are you gonna be on your back, or are you gonna be like in a a full standing position?" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna be in bed, obviously." He's like, "Okay, get one of these," and it was a Beretta. It was a handgun, but it had a handle on the side where you could keep it stable and just aim it right where you need to aim it. That was interesting. That was not the. I thought he was going to say shotgun, but no. Yeah, surprising.
All right, all right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Fire. Danny, your
Mm.
apartment complex is on fire. What are you doing?
Jumping in the pool. Safest place, man. Safest place. No. Um, I think I have fire insurance. I'm pretty sure I have fire insurance. Um, but I mean, obviously the plan is to um get out depending on how much time I have. I'm taking like, there's a hierarchy of things.
Well, let's set a rule. You have 20 minutes to evac.
Okay.
Oh, that's easy.
Um, I'm taking, important documents, birth certificates, marriage certificates, passports, um, any kind of legal documents that I'm going to need, any kind of banking documents that I'm going to need, um, and then then it's going to the stuff that can't be replaced, sentimental items, and if there's time, I will go for like expensive items.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
you know, I have a go bag for that reason, just so I don't have to worry about like clothes or um, like essential like protection gear. I have that all in my go bag, first
Hmm.
aid kit, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Smart.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
If my house burns down, or if I have because I have to leave, right? Because I'm evacuating.
Evac, yeah.
You have extra rooms, so
I do. And I would take you in. Maybe not your cat.
uh, that's a good thing. Cat. Well, yeah.
Careful with your words. What were you about to say?
Cat would be one of the things where it's just like, okay, is this an essential thing, or
It's lived a long life.
she has, man, she's fucking old.
Well, she knows
But
how to
no,
run too. I mean, if it gets hot
Frankie
in the
would
leave,
not
leave
let
the
us leave
window
without the
open.
cat, and
I know
I'm
the
I'm kind
cat's
of
coming.
with her on that.
Yeah,
Cat's coming.
of course. Of
Mhm.
course. Eddie, your apartment complex is on
It's
fire.
kind of embarrassing. The only thing I have that's remotely, I don't have go bags. There's no sprinklers in here. If I have 20 minutes, I at least have enough time. I've got like a rappelling rope, so I can get my ass over the side of the balcony real quick. And I can just save life and limb.
You don't
Phones for
have
me.
stairs?
Yeah, I have stairs, but what if they're blocked?
Okay.
What if it's the stairs that are on fire?
How
You
how
know?
high up are you?
3
Three.
stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, but uh, but yeah, just the essentials. And if it's sentimental shit, I'd grab a bunch of pictures and stuff like that, stuff and
Mhm.
videotapes that of my family that I can't replace and that I still need to convert to digital. Um, but yeah, to me, like banking stuff and the passport, you can get a new passport. But yeah, it's those pictures and those memories that only I will hold on to them, interestingly enough, and then who takes them when I die. So it's sentimental to me, and they're so sentimental that they're all in a box that I haven't looked at for a while. That's how important it is. But
100%.
I just need to get my ass outside and a couple of things. If I leave with my wallet, my phone, uh, everything that I would take to uh to go to the grocery store, you know, keys, and then I'm good.
Okay. And where are you going? Are you going to base?
Most likely,
Okay.
and I'll park in the commissary parking lot and then sleep there or get a room for like $30 a night or something like that. Or there's like a veterans relief, something to that effect. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't be on my own.
Okay, good. The plan that we were talking about during the conversation with my in-laws. So, as far as grabbing shit, I this actually came up that it's kind of we're in the newer generations. Um, the whole grabbing the photo albums isn't as big of a thing anymore because like I don't have any photo albums.
Mhm.
It's all digital. Most
Smart.
of most of it's on the Google Cloud, the Drive. And I didn't really realize that because that's everyone's go-to, like, oh, grab the albums. And I almost said that, but I was like, oh, we don't really need to. Like, I had every photo that I've framed, I have like a digital copy.
Brilliant.
Um,
Brilliant.
I would grab my laptop, obviously, because there's actually a lot of important shit on there. Um, this sounds kind of dumb, but I would probably grab my Xbox.
That sounds dumb.
Um, 20 minutes, I could do a lot in 20 minutes. Um,
Xbox, come on. We got to stay
Mhm.
entertained somehow.
like it's weird, but like kind of like Danny said, it is a more expensive item.
Mhm.
And it does come in handy when there's nothing to do. Just be honest. Um,
You'll have a lot to do when you don't have a house anymore.
no, well, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Um, I made a joke about grabbing some of my cutlery, if you will.
Mhm.
And obviously that's not the case, but there are a couple swords that have sentimental value that I would probably throw in my car.
Mhm.
Um, and I think as far as I collect the tap handles, I think we said like the tap handle that No Clue Brew made for my dad, I'd probably take, or we made it, but they made the beer anyway. I'd probably take that tap handle and a couple other sentimental ones. And then yeah, then we'd be out of here. And then I think the plan would be we would go to my mom's house with our dogs
Mhm.
because my mom she doesn't have a big house, but she has like the backyard split into two, and so she has a dog. So if they don't get along, like the dogs have their own space. So we would probably go to my mother's house. All right, that's fire.
What about your roommate at UNLV? I mean, you could throw that person out, whoever's in there.
Oh, my boy doesn't own that house anymore.
Oh, really?
So UNLV would not be an option in
That
Vegas.
sucks.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know. I don't have a place to stay now.
The food was
I'm the real
food was
victim.
decent. The food was
Yeah.
decent.
What while we're on the topic of fire, and keep in mind that the state is currently burning down. Did you guys hear about the benefit concert that they're doing? Like, I think it's iHeartRadio is doing.
Fire Aid or something.
Yeah.
That's I only know
Fire
of
Aid.
its existence. I don't know anything else about it.
I was like, oh, that seems really cool, and then I heard who was playing Fire Aid. They got Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm like, guys,
I thought about that too.
Oh, that's
read the fucking
freaking
room,
awesome.
man. Like this.
Well, they're doing it for free. Yeah, for this
It's-
one benefit, we'll call ourselves Earth. Get over it.
We're Earth and the other elements.
Yes, that's funny. Man, I know I'm excited. I didn't know who's playing.
Oh,
Earth,
dude, everybody.
Earth, Wind, and Water.
Earth, Wind, and Water. Yep. It was like because the fire started because of two of those things.
Yeah, exactly. Woo. I could,
And
and just going back to that, just the level of devastation, it is so mind-boggling. It got into the community. I was like going, are you serious? This has to be arson because freaking Aldi is burning. Freaking everything else is burning. And then you look at it got that far down. Holy crap. That is crazy. And even in Palisades, I thought obviously the nice houses along the cliff, but no, it got into the community.
Well, did you see?
Freaking Malibu. Oh.
Yeah.
What were you to say, Danny? I'm sorry.
Did you see the footage of like the embers blowing in the wind?
I haven't. No.
It's insane, dude. It's like a hellscape. It looks like a really fucked up 4th of July. Because the gusts of winds are moving so fast, and like the embers in them, like you can see, and it's just like trees on fire outside of McDonald's. Like they showed like palm trees on fire, and just every time the wind blew, like parts of the tree would just fall off. Yeah, it's a tiki torch. That's exactly what it was.
That's crazy. Yeah. And it's you don't understand it until you see it. But yeah, wind and fire make a great name for a band. But yeah, it's it's not a pleasant thing to watch when your property and your home and your livelihood is involved.
Well, I know the Eaton fire happened quick too, because one, let's get it out of the way. I've lived in Southern California my whole life. I've been through winds. I honestly, winds don't bother me anymore. Those winds were fucking nuts. Because I went outside because like we lost a small tree, and I had to pull it, and like we had a water connection anyway. But like the wind, I remember I was like, this is really fucking bad. Just being out in it, and so there was part of me, I was kind of getting ready to drive back to our restaurants because a door broke and there was issues going on because of the winds, and I was getting ready to go, and that's when Erica, my wife, was like, hey, my parents are getting evacuated, so they're coming here. And in my head, I was like, they don't live near the Palisades. Just the way I was like, because the Palisades fire was going, I was like, they don't live near the Palisades. And she's like, no, there's a fire in Altadena. And I was like, since fucking when? Like, and it was literally like, I looked it up later, like within 10 minutes of that fire starting.
Wow.
Altadena was
bada boom.
out. So yeah, they fortunately they only grabbed a few things, like because they even told me later they were never prepared for it, but they were able to get back in the house the next day by the graces of God, and got a few other things. So that was good for them.
And it's still standing. Good. Yeah, good for them.
It's still standing. Yep.
I remember the first time I grew up in the shadow of Mount Wilson and what have you, had a great view of it, living in Arcadia, Temple City area. And then in 1994, that mountain caught on fire. We drove all the way up to a supermarket across the street from LaSalle High School and just watched those flames. And they didn't get very far down. I mean, and that, and it's interesting because two fires happen at once. When you watch the news, they'll always cover the most expensive area. So at the same time, Laguna Beach and Laguna Hills was on fire. REM releases a song dedicated to them. But if you live in Pasadena, I'll go to hell. But
You're like, what the fuck? Yeah.
It wasn't windy. It was never like that. That's why it was so mind-boggling to me to see Altadena that it got so deep.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
yeah.
All right, back to the topic. So, there's only a few choices for this one. You pretty much you run, you hide, or you fight. Active shooter. So we're not at home. We're out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Grocery store, mall, whatever the situation. Are you running? And when I say hide, it's kind of more like just kind of staying put, like in a grocery store. If you're just going to stay in the aisle you're in and hope he doesn't see you, whatever. What's your move, Eddie? You go first.
Get the hell down. Know where the exits are. Yeah, and just keep a low profile and just hug that ground like you love it. Like it's the, or else you're going to be seeing the 72 versions, you know? Yeah, and just make your way to the back. Just get the hell out of there, get out of sight, and just don't, yeah. If
So
you're
you're
at a
kind
grocery
of
store.
you're kind of thinking like a slow run. Like don't get up and run, but like stay low,
I'm
kind of
talking
sneak out.
crawling,
Let's be like
crawling,
sneaking out. Yeah, sneaking out.
like freaking Satkong Village paintball type of crawl, you know? And
Yeah,
just get the hell out of there ASAP if feasible. And
kind
if
of like
like you're in a
sneaking out.
school,
Yeah.
yeah, sneak out. If you're in a school in a classroom, then you barricade yourself.
Okay, Danny. This is a pretty straightforward one.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume that it's going to happen where I work, and I work in a school. So, um, we're on the second story. So if somebody's breaking in, we're going to have a little bit of warning before they get up to us. And we've practiced and run drills about what we need to do. I think we're pretty good. We have a lockdown. We have a security door, so it's like hooked up, and all the front desk person needs to do is click a button to put it in lockdown.
Okay.
And so our front door's in lockdown. Now, if somebody's already in our suite in our building, we have those manual door locks that you just insert under the door, jack it up a little so there's friction. It's like a friction lock.
Mhm.
And then we also each one of the rooms or the offices in our suite has a window breaker and a rope ladder, so we
Okay.
can go out the windows that way if need be. Um, my first priority is making sure that the students that are on campus are safe. Um, if I don't have time to do that, um, and they're like right out the door and they find a way into the door, um, yeah, obviously I'm fighting
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going for the kill, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always have a knife on me, even when I go to work. I have a knife on me. So yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
fighting.
work protocols aside, if you're in a grocery store,
Hmm.
because I think, and this is not dismissing any of the work protocols, but like obviously, if you're stuck in a room and he comes in, you're going to try to fight, like
Yeah.
obviously. But if you're in a grocery store, so you have a choice, you can either kind of run or, like Eddie said, sneak, kind of shelter in place in a sense, like hope you're not seen, or
Hmm.
actively make moves to try to stop them.
You know what? Everybody wants to kind of be the hero in that story.
We're boys at
Um,
heart, yeah.
yeah, I don't know what I would do. There's a good chance I just might freeze. But there is a good chance.
Okay.
I don't know how active I would be in trying to go after it, because like the thing about a grocery store, you don't know if it's one guy or if it's five.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um, Now having been around guns, knowing how what they sound like, what they smell like, um,
Okay,
I,
four
I'm
leaf.
I know, right? Uh, um, I'm pretty sure within a matter of minutes I could know how many guns are going off in the store, and from there make a decision. Um, and I would hope that I would try to do something to make sure as many people are safe as possible.
Okay.
Do you ever watch the movie Cobra? That begins with an active shooter in a
The
supermarket.
Stallone movie
I don't
Cobra.
think
The
I saw that.
Stallone movie Cobra.
I don't think I've seen that one.
He
I
gets
haven't
into
seen
his
that one.
discussion with them. It's great. Because a lot of discussions happen during active shooters, as we all know. Anyways,
Mhm.
Glennie, would you have a discussion?
Um,
He's bailing.
no, so
Okay,
so
you go grab a butcher's knife. What's to say the cops come in, catch you with a butcher's knife, and go, "Oh no, he's a good guy." You
so
know?
I've run down the scenario many times, and I think and this is me. If it happened and it happens, it might be different. When the time comes where I get a concealed carry permit, I'd like to think that I would try to help. But like you said, it is risky, and I've heard some police officers, even if you have a weapon on you,
Mhm.
not to directly engage, because then if the police officers have like a very quick response, you suddenly are now in the crosshairs from the police.
Mhm.
So I take that into consideration, but I'd like to think I would try to help. Not having a weapon, having a knife like Denny said, I carry a knife on me as well. I think if it's and I want to be clear, I don't think people who just run are cowards in this situation. I don't think they are. I think first off, my instinct would be to run. Not necessarily like just run and scream. Eddie made a great point. If you run and scream, you're a target.
Mhm.
Like if you're fast, they're gonna catch. Like they're gonna see you. So I would
Then
probably
again, I'm sorry.
go on. No, go on. Go on.
Well, if it's a run and scream, if you want to be the target, if other people are
Yeah,
going out the front, what the hell's
yeah.
that? Okay.
So I would try to be kind of tactical in my retreat, if you will. But I have thought about it, and if it was like if I was put in a situation where they were close to where I wasn't able to run, or I had a choice, like I think I saw a movie where it was kind of similar to where like the door's right there, that's the way out, and I can either run down the aisle, back down the aisle, and hopefully get around the corner in time, like if the guy's coming toward my way, so I can either try to go for the door, or retreat, or go after him with the knife. That's the kind of the question. Like, do I have enough space between me and him to bridge that gap? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
So, uh, give me 1 second. I'll pause this if you guys want to keep talking. I'm going to mute my mic for a second. I'm getting a call and I have to take it.
All right. Well, it was interesting because I was, I remember I was in high school going outside of a bowling alley. It was in Arcadia, of all
Mhm.
places. And, there's what you think you're going to do, and there's what you're actually going to do. In a fight, as we were leaving the bowling alley, like there was a fight, and then it spilled outside. And I wanted to stay and watch. My girlfriend's like, no, 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 come on, let's go, let's just go. And I was like, no, I'm gonna stay and watch. She gets pissed, she goes. And I was like, okay, fine. And so as I go, she's driving, it's her car. As I go to the passenger side, we hear a pop. And I was like,
Ooh.
oh, damn, here? Yeah, so what are you gonna do? So we get, we just get in the car and then leave. I get home, or no, to her house. I get right on the phone, dial 911, report the shooting. And I reported it, it was dark. I reported it as an interaction between somebody who was Caucasian and somebody who was Mexican. And it turned out when it came out in the paper, somebody got shot. The shot hit somebody in the ankle, and it was between two Asian people. So it's
Oh,
like, okay, well, it's dark, and I was far away, and yeah, it's just really interesting what one would think one would do in a situation like that, and then there's what we actually do. I'm just
yeah,
glad nobody was killed.
yeah.
Hmm.
Man. The whole active shooter thing is very. It's it's kind of fucked up, especially in like the most likely scenario for me. Like it's going to be a student,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be somebody I know.
Mm.
And if it comes to it, like if I got to stop them, you know,
You got to do what you got to do.
you got to do what you got to do.
It becomes the zombie apocalypse real quick. You don't
Yeah.
want to do that, but you
Sorry,
know,
gents. Are you already talking about the zombie apocalypse?
I
it's
mean, we were
segue.
about to
We get
segue. Yeah.
I was
yeah.
going to save that for last, but all right, we're talking about it. Sorry about that call. So what's been said so far? I wasn't listening. I was on a call.
We just introduced. He literally just said zombie apocalypse.
That's all I said.
Okay. If
Well, the context being that if somebody enters an active shooter, if there's an active shooter at his place of work, it's most likely going to be somebody that he knows, and it's most likely going to be a student. So you don't want to do that, but it becomes the zombie apocalypse in that you got to do what you got to do.
Okay, I see the context now.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to go into zombies, or we want to go to the other one I have?
Well, yeah, I go to the other one.
Other one, so this one, Eddie, I want to be educated by you first because you would know better.
Mm-hmm.
If, hypothetically, knock on wood, someone launches an ICBM at the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just going to be one, Mike. It's
Yeah.
going to be all of them.
My point being, how much time do we have? Like, how much time do we have as citizens that we know it's coming?
About 15 to 30 minutes is what I
Well,
understand.
there's when the government knows, because we'll know.
That's true.
Yeah, the government will know instantly, and then it's okay. Is it time to let everybody know? And then once you know, here's the biggest thing about a nuclear exchange: where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
You know, and okay, so you're not in the epicenter, you're not at ground zero, but then again, with everything's an MX missile now, which means it's going to be like a shotgun. So you have a main warhead, and you're going to have sub-nuclear munitions. And San Diego is an overkill zone, obviously, with all the shipping and what have you. And then, okay, so you're out of that zone. Where are you going to get your water from? Where are you going to get your food from? There's going to be all the fallout from it. So, and even if you don't get an ounce of fallout, the infrastructure behind that, unless you're a farmer or what have you, there's going to be hell to pay. And then who's going to communicate? Yeah, you can go into this zone, you can go into that zone. Who's friendly? Who's not? It's just going to be a mess. It's going to be a really big mess.
So your best educated guess, like how many minutes or hours would the common person?
The maximum you're going to have, and this is just with an ICBM, not with a hypersonic missile or if something's closer. Let's say the maximum, if they have a positive identification, I would say 85, most likely 60 minutes. You're going to have an hour.
About an hour. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what kind of. So actually, we were discussing this concept, the whole plans thing. I was discussing with my mom, kind of joking around with her, and we talked about the nuke thing. And she's like, if I heard a nuke was going to hit LA, she's like, I would get in bed and go to sleep. Yeah. I was like, fair. And I kind of thought about that too. And I think my survival plan, because Eddie, you hit on a bunch of points way ahead before, because I was going to ask about them too, but it's almost one of those things like, do you even want to survive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, so let me get into my plan first. And Eddie, fact check me, please. Just like raise your hand. My plan, like hypothetically, if it was like 4 to 5 hours lead time, I would try to get people to come to my house first so that we can go as a group. If it's only like an hour, like you said, I'm packing up as much shit as I can in our 2 cars, and we're going through the mountain to the desert.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And fact check me because you would know better. I've heard that like mountain ranges can work as a kind of shield to the initial blast. I've heard that. Is that true?
Well, it's an above ground to an extent.
Obviously,
best practice,
radiation
it's better
and shit,
than nothing. But if they're not going after Edwards, then you're kind of okay.
I didn't even think about Edwards. But so that's my general plan is if hour lead time, let's say it's an hour lead time, pack up all of our shit. We have 2 cars and head up Azusa Boulevard and get through the mountain as fast as possible to the desert. Because I think a lot of people would be taking the 10, the 210, the 60, trying to get out that way.
That's your advantage, yes.
Yeah, whereas I would try to go through the mountain.
It takes one accident and
to
then
fuck everyone over, yeah.
And it takes one accident on that road too. And then you're legging it.
Especially on that road. It's a 1-laner.
Well, remember, if the bombs go off, they release EMP as well. So
everybody's car is going to be fried.
Well, that's why I would try to bust my ass up that road as fast as possible. Yeah.
And I thought about it where I live. The most safest place is going to be in the stairwell. That's right in the middle of the building. All I have to do is just bring enough food to stay there for 3 days, providing it's still standing.
Okay. Danny?
Um, obviously, like my plan is to, you know, find some place relatively underground. And I've there's a mall over here. Is it the might be the Block? Maybe it's not the Block. I don't remember what it's called. But I've driven past it, and they have like this underground garage that's like chain linked off, and I'm like, that wouldn't be bad, and it's only like 10 minutes away from my place. But I would try to shoot for that, and just get underground, like an underground garage or parking structure or any place that has like a really good basement. In California, we don't really have a lot of those, thanks to
Yeah.
earthquakes. Um, but yeah, I would just try to find somewhere underground and just to hang out for the next 2 or 3 days, um, and then poke back out and see what the world's like now.
Okay. Cool. The
Well
alternative,
done.
I would also agree with my mother that if depending on the situation, I might just go to sleep too.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
I'm close enough to downtown LA that the blast will decimate my house instantly. Okay, cool. Nuke one was easy, nice and quick.
Do nothing, just lay there and take it.
Well,
Now,
so but
again, what are you going to do?
yeah, and so
What are you
Eddie
gonna
Eddie
do?
kind of hit it on the head though. Like I think a lot of these like movies and shows and stuff. I don't want to say romanticized because it's still dystopian, but like they kind of had this thing where like people are surviving, people are rebuilding, and it's like so. I get to the desert with
Mhm.
Erica. Let's assume Erica's had the baby by now. Oh, my wife's pregnant. I forgot if I ever announced that.
Congratulations.
On the show officially, but so it's me, Erica, a baby, and two dogs in the desert. Everyone else is dead. Everyone else is in people I know.
Do you know how to build a house? Do you know
That's
how
what
to
exactly. So like
how to hunt and forage for food?
so realistically, yeah, I love my dogs. I'm a dog person, but they're gonna die. They're gonna die first, and I'm gonna cook them.
Yep.
Dog makes a fine meal. Um,
And yeah, providing all the bridges are intact too.
especially the mountain route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is assuming I get through the mountains and I get to the high desert. Depending on what time of year it is, it might be hot as fuck up there.
Mhm.
And if I don't have enough water, so like unless we happen to link up with someone with a lot of resources very fast who are willing to share those resources,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
which then my cutlery might have to come into handy.
Mhm.
So yeah, like it's one of those things like even with the best escape plan for the initial blast, the actual fallout of that would be like, is it worth even trying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was that? Wasn't that Bill Burr's bit? Was that during like the zombie apocalypse or a nuclear fallout where he's just like, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a garden. I'm gonna grow my own shit, and then I had the epiphany. You know what? No, I'm not gonna do that because when I do that, the next guy with a bigger gun is gonna come in and kill me and take all my shit.
And then, not to mention, maybe we should get in this with the zombie topic that's more relevant. Like people, and I think this happens in the movies too. Like they paint this false picture of just growing your own shit.
Mhm.
Um, Danny,
Not that easy.
yeah, Danny, your wife absolutely knows this. I know it from my hobby. Growing crops is fucking hard if you don't know like everything there is to know about it. Danny Frankie, I think knows a lot, and I'm sure she still doesn't know tons of shit.
Mm.
I I remember there was years where I planted like up to 30 to 40 plants, and maybe six of them would give me fruit. And that takes months, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm like, oh, it's a nuclear fallout, zombie fallout, and I'm going to start planting crops so I can feed myself, you still got 3 to 4 months before you're eating that.
Yeah.
So good luck. Anyway, but yeah, so that's kind of the problem with the nuclear thing is if you survive, then what? You survive to die miserable.
Yeah.
Mhm. Your water, your medicine, your food,
Yeah. If you have
air.
a condition that relies on medicine to keep you alive, good luck.
Mhm.
That's
You're
what
you're you're dead.
I have high blood pressure. I'm gonna have a
Mhm.
fucking stroke within 2 months.
Mhm.
Um,
Less than that, probably a couple hours.
they're like, just relax, Mike. Take it easy. Breathe. Fuck no.
Exactly. That's going to be interesting in any societal, like if we just lose electricity.
Yeah.
How are you going to get your meds? And that's a lot of the population of the United States relies on meds, and they're behind the counter. So that's interesting.
That's something we didn't add on the list, Mike, that we need to put on this list for
Mhm.
plans.
Next one.
Invasion.
Let's hit invasion. That's the next one. I don't think I think I don't think I would be a Wolverine.
No,
No,
I know
was
Mitch would.
confused.
Mitch would.
Mitch would not. No, he wouldn't.
Oh, dude, he loves that fucking movie.
No, he loves the movie. He's not pulling a Wolverine. No, he's not doing that. I would be. People could call me a coward. I would be the person who's like, I just want to live my fucking life. Like, leave me. Just go fight your war. I want to live my life.
So who thinks Mitch would be a Wolverine and who thinks Mitch would be in town? He's not here. He can defend himself if he wants to.
Mitch, I think Mitch, just like I said, I would love to use my knife and attack the active shooter in the store.
Yeah.
Mitch would like to be a Wolverine.
Uh-huh.
Hell, I would like to be a Wolverine. But I'm not going to be a Wolverine.
You're not in high school anymore.
Even if I had my little small, concealed carry gun. Okay, Russia, I got you. Like, no, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to be peaceful until, like, if they just start carpet bombing my neighborhood, then I'll die. But I don't think I have a plan for that, Danny. I think that's kind of one of those things that you just kind of live through.
So, yeah, I bring it up because, like, I don't necessarily have a plan. I have, like, my question is, like, if it were ever to happen, what do they hit first? Where do they go? Where do they land?
Well, it's not a man plan.
No, it's I just it's stuff I think about.
Let's save that for a different one. I think that's a good episode that I had in mind that we could talk about that. Though,
well, let Danny preface it. What do you got in mind, Danny?
Okay, yeah, go for
an invasion.
So obviously airports.
A conventional invasion.
No, what are you doing, Danny?
Yeah, this is a Danny question.
Oh my gosh, Wolverine, baby.
Fuck you. No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I am turning my house into Fort Knox. I am boarding up windows. Obviously, I'm no match for a tank, but very few invasion forces have tanks. If it's a quick QRF type invasion. But yeah, I'm boarding up my house, making it look like I'm gone, and hunkering down and fighting for what's mine if they come try to take it. Mm-hmm. And that's anybody.
Well, that's the problem with invading the United States, because who's armed? Well, everyone you see here.
There's that.
Everyone, grandma, the kids. Especially the kids.
I think that it would be an interesting movie if they did like do some sort of invasion, not like fucking Red Dawn, but like a movie that like they invade and you see the battle lines, and on one end it's like the Russian army, the Chinese army, whoever you want it the bad guy to be, and on the other end you have like Crips and Bloods with Uzis, rednecks with shotguns and rifles, and you have like this just crazy assortment of armed people fighting the fucking Russian army. I think it'd be an interesting movie.
Well, and that's why I want to say one of the key things, like why no country's ever even attempted to invade the U.S. And I forget the comedian's name, but he's like, can you imagine if somebody tried to invade through the Gulf of Mexico? And like,
bad idea.
You try to come through Texas.
The army gets to Galveston, and it's just a beach that's covered in beer cans and bullet casings.
Or any place in the deep south.
You see a guy there with a cutoff. You see a guy there with a cutoff flannel and a shotgun. He's like, "You guys are late." We took care of it though.
You imagine like Russia or China pulling up, and they're like, who are you? We're leftist communists." Well, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, we should.
But interestingly enough, in this day and age, I don't think there's going to be. You're going to need to go to the deep south or Texas to find Wolverines. I don't think there's any Wolverines in California.
I think the Wolverines, quote unquote, in California. I know I joked about the Crips and Bloods, but I think it would be more like the Crips and like gangsters would kind of stay out of it until the invasion force stepped on their toes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm using Crips and Bloods as an example. Like LA gangs would probably keep out of it until a platoon came rolling down their street.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Then they'd be like, "Fuck these guys," and guerrilla warfare.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what it would be. You'd have like a very large underground resistance movement. And whether or not they could coordinate, that would probably make it nationwide.
Mhm.
With a lot of counterintelligence, um, espionage, sabotage, and very, very small hit and run type skirmishes.
Mhm.
Until
Sure.
we could get like, a swell of force in one part of the country or another to push back.
Mhm.
Okay. And with that, the final one, zombie apocalypse.
That's probably the easiest one.
I think it depends. So let's make the ground rules. Are we
Mhm.
gonna do, and this is kind of a dumb question, are we gonna do like there's three options here? Probably more, but eh. So one, there's two, because if it's like Shaun of the Dead zombies, walking zombies,
Mhm.
I have a plan. If it's like, you know, World War Z zombies, 28 days later zombies,
Mm.
I might just put a bullet in my mouth.
Just to like suck
Because
on.
they
Yeah,
retain their
toss around.
intelligence. I mean, that's in some movies they retain their intelligence, and others they don't.
Well, assuming just bloodthirsty beings. My point is the running,
Yeah.
the sprinting. Like, and small jolts, I might be able to get away from them, but if I'm on a street, fuck, I'm dead.
Mhm.
Um, so let's say slow walking classic zombie. That's what we're going with.
Well, you can get out the way. I mean, that's you just push them into the river or something like that. That's your
Well,
defense.
they come in hordes, but so
Yeah.
Okay.
my plan. So I think realistically, so if the grid stays online, I think I'll be fine. If they happen to like swarm my house, like you guys have been in my house, like it's kind of circular to where I could lead them like around the house and then get in the car and dip if I need to. Like I've actually thought about this, like how I would do it
Yeah.
because that's what we do. We make plans. Danny, your zombie plan, and again, these are classical slow walking zombies, Walking Dead, Night of the Living Dead, etc.
Um, Once I'm out of the city,
Just say two parts. One,
Mhm.
they're like swarming your apartment complex, like they're swarming my house. Part two, what do you do after you get out?
All right. So the problem with my place is I have one place of ingress and egress. Um, so I could go through my backyard, but there are 6 foot, 7 foot fences that I have to climb, and then it leads into somebody else's backyard, and that creates a problem. Um,
Not if there's a zombie behind you. You'll find
Problem
a
solved real
way.
fast.
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but again, in my complex, we only have two entrances and exits.
Mm.
So
What's your plan?
my plan is I don't know, man. I haven't thought about it for here quite yet. Um, I had one at my old place, and that one was fairly easy because the house was right there on the freeway. Just hop on the freeway, get out. Um,
So let's use the house as an example. You're talking about like your family house, right?
yeah.
So the swarm is coming to like around the house. So you have to dodge
Mhm.
zombies to get out. What's your plan?
Oh, jumping over the back wall, or there's a very easy way to get onto the roof. So I just take a gun up to the roof and just start picking them off, thinning the herd, so we can create an exit.
Okay. And then you get out. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Getting out and going to as uh thinly populated area as I can find that would still have like supplies. So mountain towns usually, but you run the risk there of like the mountain town kind of not
Rejecting you.
letting anybody in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll take
Have you
that.
guys seen The Last of Us?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are running zombies. Fuck those things.
Those clickers. No, thank you.
No.
Hmm.
All right, Eddie,
Well,
your turn.
it's easy. Just shelter in place if they're slow
It's an
moving
option.
ones.
Yeah, it's
But
an option.
but then again, if if they gotta have ya, I mean, even the Last of Us zombies. I mean, it's not too bad, but if they gotta have ya, like in World War Z, good luck because they're climbing all
Mhm.
over each other to get to you, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm 3 stories up, but if you're climbing on each other, yeah.
Well, that's what, and this is, I was joking around with the same guy at work I was talking about where we're going over plans. I think in order, and this is assuming I have a gun, it would be Erica first. Like I'm shooting Erica first so she doesn't have to witness any of this.
Mhm.
Baby second, then the dogs, then me. If it's World War Z zombies. Like, so I would, World War, no, I'm being for real. If
Did you
it's,
ever watch The Mist?
Yeah,
I didn't watch The Mist.
I was gonna bring that up.
But no, so if it was World War Z zombies, there's a new plan. I would shelter in place. There's no fucking way World War Z zombies, Last of Us zombies, any fucking sprinting, running zombies. I'm sheltering in place. If they start breaking windows and coming in, yeah, we're running to the bedroom. I'm telling my wife I love her, and pop, 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 pop. Not going through it.
Mhm.
Like we're not doing that. We've got as far as we can by sheltering in place. If there was like some sort of radio signal saying there's a safe place to go, yeah, then we would load up the cars and go. But if we're sheltering in place and these quick, crafty little fuckers swarm the house as they do, breaking windows, climbing through, yeah, I'm ending it all.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like there's
Makes
no
sense.
question.
Now here's the thing. This is always when and if you're bit, do you tell somebody immediately or do you write out your last day and a half?
You record it and then yeah.
I would tell someone.
Yeah. Be safe.
I think I would tell someone, and instead of them, so if it's like World War Z where it's like 12 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, hey, look at me. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Kind of like Brad Pitt did in the movie where he was like ready to
Yeah.
jump off the building.
Yeah.
If someone had a gun near me, I'd be like, hey, like, don't kill me now. Wait till my eyes go. But like, eyes on me. If it was more of a slow thing that might take a day or two, I would definitely tell someone. And then I would probably just go isolate.
Mhm.
Like, say my goodbyes, isolate.
It's
And then
easy for
turn.
me
Wait,
because
so you wouldn't let them kill you? You would just turn?
Or kind of, it's
well,
happened this.
you could do it easy if you're turning in 12 seconds. Just go jump in your damn pool,
That's
right?
true. I guess. I
Yeah.
guess. Can
Because
zombies swim?
which movies do you know that zombies swim?
I think the
Well,
impulse of them just trying to run
Mm-hmm.
would get them
well,
out of the pool.
what was the one? It was a Romero movie. It was the sequel to Dawn of the Living Dead. I don't remember what that one was. But it's the
The,
one with Dennis Hopper, John Leguizamo,
yes, I
and
know that one.
they simply just walked under the water and got to the other side of the river
Oh,
because they
then
don't
you're
need to breathe.
screwed. Yeah, that's true. Then you're screwed.
But today, answer the question. I think my problem. So let's say it's just like I said, my little family unit, me, wife, baby, dogs, whatever. My worry, and I'm I'm hopefully right about this, is that if I gave Erica the gun and said, "Wait until I turn and shoot me," the whole risk of will she have the balls to?
Yeah, yeah,
That's why I would probably give her the gun and then I would go isolate.
yeah.
Hmm.
Grant, and then
Well, you've
Eddie.
got an expectant mother, and when that child comes, sorry, it's either you or
Yeah.
the kid. And
Well, of course, but there is that risk of like it's kind of happened in some movies where like if it's someone you love and you wait for them to turn, there's always like, but I still don't want to shoot them.
Mhm.
I mean I think I would just because I would, but there are some people who are just too emotionally attached, and it's a risk. It's a risk.
Hmm.
And so I would give her the weapons. Granted, I'm not sure how much she would survive on her own, but and then I would dip out and go isolate somewhere.
Hmm.
Maybe take the small car and just go running them down the zombies somewhere else.
Again, it depends on what kind of zombies they are.
No, if they're running zombies, like I said, we're isolating. As soon
Yeah,
as that window
we're kind
breaks,
of we're screwed.
yeah, cap, cap, cap.
Or
But
just if it's noise based, can't you just throw a log? You know.
They throw a log.
Yeah, I got a fireplace. It's like I got a log. Okay, there's the noise. You go for that.
Maybe
But you're gonna have a baby.
throw the
You're not
baby.
gonna throw the baby.
Oh, ah,
That'll make noise
yes.
and provide.
That was an excellent scene in a quiet place, having a baby.
Hmm.
Oh, that was a brilliant scene. You
That was a
felt,
good play. It was a good scene.
felt
No, so it might be like because like we're very uh what's the word? I wanted to use the word ingenuity, but I don't know how to use it as an adjective. So
Ingenuous.
we're ingenuous. We're ingenious. There you go. We're ingenious.
Sure.
But like how like in Call of Duty they have like the pipe bombs with the monkeys attached to them that make the noise so all the zombies
Yeah.
herd around those. That could be a very useful thing to have, like some kind of noise maker that goes boom.
Hmm.
Or was the Left 4 Dead the beeping pipe bombs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I had to dip out, I would probably try to lure the zombies into my backyard
Hmm.
because I have doors all over, like kind of lure them in, assuming depending on how many there are, run around and kind of lock them in my backyard.
Yeah.
And if they're the slow moving ones that can't get through our windows, then it's like, all right, whatever. But if it's just a temporary thing, then we can get in the car and go.
Would you let
They
the
can get through
zombie
the
kiss
windows.
you like in The Last of Us?
Zombie kiss someone? Did I miss
Yeah.
that scene? Did I miss that
Zombie,
scene?
zombie kissed someone. She knew she was infected, but she was holding her grenade. Yeah.
Oh, I kind of remember that now.
Mhm.
No, I would I probably would not kiss a zombie. Erica would have a problem with that.
Okay.
I'm a faithful husband.
Well, it's good to know.
If Erica was gonna find out about it,
Imagine getting that news. I left you for a zombie. They're
They make
dead.
me feel alive.
Yeah,
they
they're
keep me on my
dead.
toes.
Yeah, but it's a lot better than you. I don't know. We need to
Erica,
go
for better or worse, it makes the relationship a lot more interesting.
till death do us part. Okay, so that means okay, so that's the other person. Never mind. No, they're not a person. They're a zombie.
Yeah.
So it's the bond. It's the covenant between the two alive people. So if you go and cheat with a zombie, then
Eddie, I think you just wrote a movie.
I think I did.
Now my question is, because this is something only a few things have gone into, and mostly just like video games. It's like the uh the enhanced zombies, the evolved zombies. Um we like in movies, zombie movies, we haven't really seen that. Zombieland kind of did it with the T-800s.
You mean kind of like in Left 4 Dead? There's the boomer,
Yeah, the hunter, the
the
smoker.
yeah. I'll be honest. I kind of don't even. Excuse me. I don't even like that in video games. I don't like the concept of like
Yeah,
the evolved zombie. I kind of like just the swarm concept.
yeah.
I know you shouldn't plan, but next improv class, I'm going to accuse somebody of cheating on me with a zombie and see where it goes.
Do it. I'm curious about the outcome.
Me too.
But so I will say this, and Eddie, you would know better than Danny. Danny, you might know too. I think if it's a slow walking zombie apocalypse, it won't be an apocalypse. I think it would be
Yeah.
controlled. I think it would be controlled.
Yeah,
Like
anybody
it would.
with a shovel, you're good. It's
Yeah.
like,
Granted, if we allow it to like get out of control to where they start like being in big swarms, it's one thing. That's
mhm,
kind of I think in Walking Dead they touch on it, where like yeah, two slow zombies come at you, knife, knife. But if there's 30 of them, by that
mhm.
fifth and sixth knife to the head, you're tired, and
Mike,
there's still more of them.
2020 wasn't that long ago, dude.
Fair, but point being, if it's a slow walking zombie, like it would be maintainable.
Danny,
Yeah.
it was half a decade ago.
Yeah, that's not long.
It's not long. A half a
No.
decade.
No, stop. You're making me feel old. Stop it.
Did you know that if you were born in the year 2000, you would be a quarter of a century?
Yes, fuck you.
Okay.
Now, fast moving zombies, World War Z style. Everyone's dying. Yeah, I'm
Even
killing.
if you're on an airplane. which was another great scene.
That was a great scene in that movie.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, but like the thing that makes those movies like relatable and hopeful is like, as brutal as those zombies are, they have a weakness. It's like we wouldn't know what weaknesses there would be until way down the road, when like half the population of the world is either dead or undead or infected.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Any other scenarios you guys have plans for? Any emergency scenarios that I haven't mentioned?
Well, we kind of did the pandemic thing, but
Mhm.
what happens if you have an Ebola or something like that, where there's a slim chance you're going to live, you know,
Like you get it, or
and
there's actually like a pandemic?
there's a pandemic and it goes around quick. So
Like
we just got
Contagion.
we just got a flu. I'm not going to trivialize it, and I'm not trivializing it. If you already had respiratory issues or a failing immune system, you were in trouble. You know,
Mm-hmm.
How about bird flu?
I'm talking about, yeah, what COVID. You know,
Oh, sorry. Yep. Um, so planning for something like that is tough because we kind of went through it, and
hmm
everyone's personal opinions about the coronavirus aside. If it was something that was like very deadly, a high percentage rate of death, it would be it would be tough because it really would. And I remember Eddie, I think you may have been on it. Daddy may have been. Mitch brought up the point. If everyone did what was asked of them during COVID, the whole stay at home for 2 weeks, don't go out for 2 weeks, level the curve, whatever.
flatten the curve.
It, yeah, I got the fucking phrase wrong. If everyone did it, do you think it would have worked? And my answer was yes. And then Mitch said something along the lines of, but wasn't that an unrealistic thing to ask? And it is, but like, I think if something that deadly, like like a serious fucking disease, I know coronavirus has a low death rate. It was just really, it spread fast, but I think we would just be fucked.
Doing it because we're interdependent. Yeah. Did all of us got COVID, right? Did everyone get COVID?
I,
Did I get COVID?
I got
Oh,
COVID, yeah.
okay. I had it twice.
Yeah. I just think because it's kind of, we don't have to get in like too heavy talk of like vaccines and shit, but it really, when it comes to a pandemic, it requires almost, dare I say, a socialist approach where everyone's working in everyone else's best interest. You know what I mean? Where
hmm
like you kind of have to have that in mind. And we live in a country, unfortunately, where that's not common.
hmm
And I'm not trying to like bring up a political point, but like it's not common. And so it just so Eric and I hypothetically, deadly virus spreading. So we stay at home.
hmm
We have all of our electricity, we have our supplies, but eventually those supplies are going to run out.
Yeah.
So what do we? One of us has to go out, or we order from DoorDash. And so now DoorDash, we're exposed to someone, even if they're wearing a mask, even if they're like, it could just be on them. So I don't know. It's tough.
hmm
I'm not sure if I have an actual plan for like a pandemic like that.
Yeah. When shit starts getting actual contagious, we're talking zombie apocalypse contagious.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes contagious. Yeah,
Yeah. Where something goes down.
yeah, that would be a tough one.
But yeah, you get Ebola, you're done. You know,
100%. Yeah, I don't think I have a plan for that level of pandemic. That one I have not figured out yet.
I wonder what happened to all those people who were like protesting vaccinations. I was like, yeah, I just curious. What have they moved on to now? Anyways.
The fires were caused by the lesbian fire chief, and
I don't believe her. I want to watch. Anyway,
all right. Well,
anyways.
Danny, you got any other scenarios, or are you good?
No, I think we kind of touched them all. I can't think of really any more.
The only other one I don't have a plan for, I'm still thinking of it, is a Alfred Hitchcock Bird situation.
Where nature
Mm.
turns against you.
Oh yeah, or The Happening.
And you know,
Fuck that
even
happening.
weather events.
Movie.
Or even weather events. What about a hurricane? What about a direct hit? If something, if the temperature changes, you get a direct hit. There were hurricane winds here a couple of years ago I told people to prepare for them. Yes, there were. They were just 100 miles inland,
Hmm.
you know, or a tornado. There was a water spout on Coronado Island. Go figure. But how do you prepare for that? Is it worth preparing? How about floods? This place makes the national news. It floods for a day and then it goes away.
I'm on a hill. I don't have to worry about the flood. Eddie, so we're going a little long, but we'll transition because you brought this up during the hurricanes in North Carolina and such, and we never got to record it. And this is what we'll finish on.
Mhm.
Danny, you can go first, or I'll go first, and then Danny can go. Then Eddie, you finish off. A situation, a weather event where we were genuinely scared. Do you remember bringing this up, Eddie?
Vaguely.
It was when because Mitch was in like he was in North
Oh
Carolina
yeah,
when those
that's right.
hurricanes
Yeah,
hit,
when he got hit. Yeah.
and you brought up like and you said this is a good topic and we never recorded it, and you said like what weather events have we been in where we were genuinely scared?
Mhm.
And granted, it happened after the fact, but like these wind events last week, fire aside, I was
Yeah.
genuinely like, what the fuck? Because I have never seen the stone, like the heavy table in my backyard. I saw it lift off the ground and hit the fence. Like, and we've lived here for 4 years. We've had winds, and I've never seen that.
Poltergeist.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. Um,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
the tree in our front yard, we lost half of that.
Oh,
I was scared, and I was going to say my example at the time when you brought it up. When I was a kid visiting relatives in Alabama, there was a tornado that came through, and I didn't understand what was going on at the time, but I was just really scared because it was super loud. Everyone was rushing us to the basement. But a more recent one, when Erica moved from Maryland to California, I drove across country with her, and we're driving through, I think,
mhm.
Missouri, excuse me.
I mean, you're right.
Freudian slip, Freudian
Yeah,
slip.
nobody can disagree with you, even the people in misery.
And you hear about those Midwest storms, and it wasn't a snowstorm or anything, but it still was like, what the fuck? We were driving, it was like the plains, and we saw a storm on the horizon. Big
Mhm.
storm. And we're like, shit, we have to drive through that. But it was like way off, miles out. And so I started just glancing at my phone to check the weather, and the hand of God slapped the car.
Mhm.
Um, and my phone dropped, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And within 30 seconds, no visibility.
Yep.
And I'm telling you,
A squall like that, yeah.
that storm was in the fucking distance.
Hmm.
Um, and within 30 seconds, no visibility. And as a boy from California, I was like, "What the fuck do I do?" Because
Yeah.
I was driving, and I think like the car in front of me, thankfully, they had their lights on and they pulled off the road, and so I just kind of followed their lights. And I think we just sat there for like half an hour to 45 minutes.
Wow.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. I forgot.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, but we just sat there because like I'm not gonna. I could not see shit except for the guy's lights in front of me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think what ended up happening was visibility started to come back, but like the wind was just slamming us. But the guy in front of us started moving, and so
Hmm.
I kind of just started moving, like following his lights.
Hmm.
And then eventually it kind of cleared up to where it was like wind we're used to. But I can't elaborate enough on that fucking storm was way the fuck over there. And within 30 seconds, no visibility. I've never
Hmm.
experienced anything like that. And it blew my fucking mind. And I was scared to death.
I experienced that for like 2 minutes. You were there for a half hour? Jeez.
I could be exaggerating. It felt like a long time, but it was fucking, I was like, ugh. Um, Danny?
Um, I mean, obviously, when you're a little kid, thunder and lightning is very scary. But as an adult, I haven't really gotten like scared. I've gotten like worried, concerned. I was house sitting for my mom, and it was during like one of the worst storms I've ever experienced in Rancho Cucamonga. And it happened, I want to say, within like the last 5 years. Um, but I get to her place and it's raining. It's pretty windy. And then the next day, everything just fucking broke loose, man.
Hmm.
Winds were gusting up to like 60, 70, 80. Um, Thunder, lightning, hail. But it was that crazy lightning where it just goes off and doesn't stop. like you were right in the middle of a
That's
storm.
incredible. Mhm.
And the thunder was just rolling, and the wind, like my mom's like side yard flooded because there was just so much goddamn rain.
Mhm.
Um, it was a trip to see, and I was like, I'm just sitting there, and I'm the only one in the house, and I got the dog in there with me, and we're both just kind of sitting there, just waiting
Mhm.
for the roof to come off.
Hmm.
It was yeah, it was. I wasn't scared. I was just kind of like, yikes. Just a
It still
little,
puckered your butthole a little bit, yeah.
yeah, puckered my butthole for sure.
Hmm.
All right,
But
Eddie.
just to preface this, it's amazing as Danny was telling his story. I mean, you freaked out about what was going on. Uh-oh, what happened to Danny?
Oh, no. Go on though.
But
I'm still here.
whatchamacallit?
I'm still here.
But just the fact that you freaked out and you're from Rancho. But yeah, if a stone table like gets slammed up against the fence, you're gonna stand up and take notice. Uh, the most interesting and notable weather event that I've been in, and that was actually right before a performance, and it was in Texas doing A Few Good Men, and we went outside, and I remember my grandfather from Kansas. He says, just beware when the sky turns green and you see a wall cloud. And we got both of those, and on top of that, it's cool to think about. It's really cool to think about when you're in California, the land of earthquakes. But when that cloud starts swirling right above your head, it's a whole different beast, and you feel that big. So there was no tornado watch or warning, no sirens went off. The only thing cool thing that happened is that when the rain did start to come down, there was a reveal scene, and then the thunder went off. That was pretty cool. Yeah, you got a bonus if you were in the audience. But yeah, that made me really nervous when everything, the two components my grandfather said to watch out for, I see them, and then I see the swirling above my head, and I was like, well, okay, what are we gonna do? Do we break character?
Yeah, where did your grandpa go? It's like, what do we do now?
The roof comes off, I think it's okay to break character and find something.
Yeah. Fucking weather. Those winds were nuts though. All right. With that, I think we could call it a call today.
All right.
Indeed.
Until we decide to get together and do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
All right. Take it easy, everyone.
Recording stopped. Stop recording. There we go.